So we all know that the stayover guests spend much more than the cruise guests, right? We know that, we understand that. They're here for 5 days, whatever. But what we don't understand until we start to peel this back is a cruise dollar is not a stayover dollar. In fact, the cruise dollar, not even a US dollar, all right? The cruise dollar is a Canadian dollar. And I Googled this today, and a Canadian dollar is worth 63 cents CI, okay? So a cruise dollar is a Canadian dollar, and a stayover dollar is a CI dollar. Now you ask, why is that? But a dollar's a dollar. Okay, just bear with me, because we're gonna run some numbers now, right? So roughly speaking, we get $200 million a year from the cruise industry. But when we look at where that money is spent, the Compass used the Bree report a couple weeks ago and put it in the paper. 31%, almost a third, 31% of the cruise visitor spend is on watches and jewelry. Those two items, 31%. Okay? Moses talked about the number of taxi drivers we're gonna need. Like, we're gonna need 10,000 taxi drivers. Every Caymanian gonna be driving a taxi, all right? Every Caymanian gonna be driving a taxi. Do you know how much the average cruise visitor spends on taxis? 2%, $1.88 is how much the average cruise visitor spends on taxis. And in fact, it's not taxis, it's ground transportation, including taxis. Now, I don't know if anybody's taken a taxi in Cayman anytime soon, recently, but $1.88 wouldn't get me from here to that door, all right? But yet, that is the average spend. So, 31% on watches and jewelry. By the time you include perfume, makeup, t-shirts, alcohol, we're up to almost 60% of the spend is on retail goods. Guys, what is being proposed is to build a cruise ship parking lot so that they can bring shoppers to get off easily to go to the Georgetown retail district. That is where the money is being spent. You just look at where the money is. Now, my family business is in retail. My father was 49 years in the retail industry. I ran that business for many years. I understand retail. The thing about retail, so we got 200 million in cruise spend, 60% of which is 120 million, is spent on retail, right? And they would have us believe that the cruise industry pumps 200 million into our economy. But this is where it becomes a Canadian dollar, all right? Because what actually happens is that $120 million of retail goods, you gotta send money overseas to Switzerland for the watches, to France for the perfumes, to everywhere else to buy those goods, right? So that 120 that's injected into our economy isn't actually 120, because 80 million of that needs to be sent to buy the goods, all right? So that is why, by the time we've paid for the goods, that 200 million that's injected into our economy is actually 120 million, all right? And that's why it's 60 cents on the dollar. When somebody gets a massage or buys a meal at a restaurant or some other service in the stayover industry, that money has an economic multiplier effect. That money stays in the economy and is worth more and more and more. The cruise industry is about retail shopping. Guys, you know, it doesn't matter if you believe that this should go forward or not, but let's call it for what it is, okay? We are building a parking lot for cruise ships to come in and easily offload the shoppers. If you want Cayman to be a shopping mall, then vote yes. I don't want it to be a shopping mall, all right? I don't want it to be a shopping mall. That's reason number one. A dollar is not a dollar. A cruise ship dollar is a Canadian dollar. A stayover dollar is a CI dollar. The second reason, the cruise ships are not our friends. They're not our benefactors. They are not our partners. Okay? I know, I mean, they always talk about the West Bay with a boat. Well, I'm a West Bay with a boat. I got several boats, okay? But I know that there are a lot of West Bayers that have boats, that have contracts with the cruise ships. And the cruise ships go around. The guy from RCL stood up here last week and said, we go around, we're wholesale buyers, right? We go around and we get the lowest price to go to Stingray City or to any excursion or activity. So we believe that they're our partners because we're working together. No, 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 no. We are a supplier this year, and next year, when they find somebody to do it cheaper, that's going to be the new supplier for them, okay? This is why year after year after year, the price paid to the local supplier has always gone down, okay? They are not partners with us. The reality is, okay, is that, and you know, it doesn't make them evil. They are a publicly traded company. Their obligation as employees and managers of that company is to maximize the revenue and the profit to their shareholders. That's their mandate. That's what they have to do. So how do they do that? Well, you know, if a family of 4 has $5,000 to spend for a week's vacation and they're going on a cruise, the cruise ship really wants to get all of that $5,000. Okay? No, they can't get all of it, so they give a few pennies here and there to the local operators. But the reality is they want to get all of that money. Right? They want to maximize their profit. So when they come to local operators, what they're trying to do is they're trying to lower their cost base, which is the price to you. So I am speaking to the other local operators here and saying to them, there is another way, all right? There is another way. If you want to know how to market to cruise ship guests, you come and talk to me. I will show you. I don't do a dollar, I don't do a penny with the cruise ships, but yet 20% of my revenue comes from cruise guests. But the important thing is, we have ceded control. We have ceded control to them. And we're about to give them even more control. Do you remember when Mike Bailey was here a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a couple months, and somebody raised a question, I think, on one of the talk shows and said, we are already overwhelmed at Stingray City. And I'll tell you something, you go to Stingray City on a cruise ship day, it's dangerous. I mean, it is literally dangerous. Somebody's going to get killed out there, okay? It's dangerous. The stingrays don't even want to go out there. You know, you've got 2,000 pairs of legs from the cruise ship guests, and you've got 4 rays that you have to hand from one person to the next. You go out there at 5 o'clock in the evening when there's hardly any boats, and you're surrounded by rays, 30, 40, 50 rays. But when you've got 2,000 people, there are no rays. But anyway, getting back to this. Okay. So, Mike Bailey said, the way you manage capacity is through price. Now, what's the last time anybody here went to Stingray City and paid a ticket to get into Stingray City? As far as I know, there's no price to get to Stingray City, right? So let's just think about this for a second. The price of Stingray City. Am I going to set the price to control bring the demand in line with the supply? Am I going to set the price? Is the government going to set the price? Are the local operators that do contracts with the cruise ships, they're going to set the price? They can't even set their price that they get from the cruise ship. I'll tell you who's going to set the price for Stingray City. The cruise ships are going to set the price to Stingray City. We are giving them the ability to destroy our valuable resources to park their ships, and we're giving them the ability to price our natural resources. What they are going to do is this. If they have more visitors that want to go to Stingray City than we have capacity for, they're going to raise the price. So today, they sell an excursion to Stingray City for $80, and they pay you $15. They're going to raise it to $90. They might raise it to $100, right, to bring demand in line with supply. You think they're going to come to you and say, hey, Bobo, I got $20 more. I'm going to give you this $20? No. Remember, they have to maximize their revenue. They have to maximize their profit, okay? So who is going to set the price for Stingray City? RCL and Carnival are going to set the price. They bring 80% of the cruise ship visitors to Cayman, and we're about to give them control over the berths. We are giving away our country and our natural resources. But you know, the thing is, with both of those reasons for voting no, we can roll them back. The third reason for voting no, and this is a reason that, honest to God, it almost brings tears to my eyes. It makes me feel like my stomach knots up. My fourth grandchild, a granddaughter, was born on Saturday, 2 days ago. And when I think of how much we are in danger of not passing on to her the pride that I have in the Cayman Islands. I need you to listen to this carefully, because this is, I almost feel like it's one of the most important things. Cayman is developing a reputation in the travel world. People who are looking for places to go, who are researching places to go. We are developing a reputation of at certain times of the day, certain days of the week, certain months of the year, of being overcrowded, okay? I don't need to ask anybody this. I have thousands of conversations a year. I have guests who will call me and say to me, now remember, we have a live system. You can go on my website now, you can see what availability I have. I'll get a phone call. Can we go out on Monday? No, I'm afraid we're fully booked, but Tuesday's available. Oh yeah, but I see that there's 6 cruise ships in on that day. I'd rather not go out on that day. They're not even asking me what day is crowded. You look at the reviews for Cayman, you look at all of the various information that's shared. I love Cayman. We are becoming known for having mass tourism, for having overcrowding, for being unpleasant to go to our attractions. Stingray City is our #1 attraction in Cayman, and yet people are avoiding that. I have guests that say to me, I'm not going to Georgetown on this day to go shopping. All right, you talk to some of the shop vendors in town, they'll tell you that their worst days are the days that the cruise ships are in town, okay? Cruise tourism is based on the premise of volume. Cruise tourism is mass tourism, and mass tourism, in my opinion, is mad tourism, all right? I have an email. I should have probably brought it. I could have, actually, this one blows me away. I mean, it makes me laugh. I got an email, I think it was about a year ago, and I think the charter was this March. And the email said to me something like, we're coming in March on this cruise ship. And it happened to be a day in the highest season when there were like 6 ships on board in that day. And an email, and this is the gospel truth. I mean, it's crazy. He actually said, we're coming in on such and such a trip on March 4th, whatever it is. Full stop. We hate crowds, right? Will you be able to take us to a private beach? Now, this is a man that's coming in on a cruise ship that got 4,500 guests. On a day then, there's 6 cruise ships in, right? And we hate crowds. Even the people that go cruising don't like crowds, right? They don't like crowds. We are on the precipice. We are on the precipice. We are on the edge of the cliff. We are about to make the most terrible mistake we have ever made as a nation. We are about to destroy the very essence of what has brought and continues to bring people to our islands. We have got to join together, hold hands, and step back from the edge of this cliff. We are going to destroy our tourism, all of our tourism. This is why I, as a tourism industry provider, recognizes that this is a terrible mistake. For short-term gain, we cannot do this. It is smoke and mirrors. Do not believe the propaganda. We do not need this. We do not want this. And it is going to destroy our tourism industry. Please come out and vote on December 19th and vote no. Thank you so much. God bless you all.